Welcome to Sacred Conversations. My name is Mandula, and these sacred conversations are here to help us all bridge the gap between the head and the heart, because it really assists you to be reminded. So these conversations are also reminding myself of what is already inside and being able to channel from Great Spirit and be used to communicate the language of the ocean, the language of nature, basically, and being able to put it in the most practical ways so that you can bridge the gap between your head and your heart. And then mentally, you can be aligned to yourself again. Physically, you can feel aligned to your spirit again. Emotionally, you can feel in tuned. And then spiritually, you are in tuned as well. So these sacred conversations, it's just like having a conversation with a friend, really. And there's aspects of, if I was here, what would I do? How would I reframe my thinking? So, and if I was here, it's talking to myself from my highest perspective, right? So we have these conversations that we are able to channel, and we receive it from intuition. What comes in is the mind intellect, which wants to negotiate. How do you know this is true? What are people going to say? Where does this come from? So then you start acquiring more and more and more and more and more information. And then you have this information overload that you have so many processes and so many concepts throughout your life that to be able to package them and reframe them, you almost like freeze. Maybe I'm speaking to someone who is in that position where you have all this wisdom, you have all these gifts to share with the world and with people around you, but you're so frozen as to how are you going to use the wisdom that you have inside of you already. Like it already exists, and there's an infinite amount of it, and usually when I find myself in that position, I just get this nudge, like, just choose one thing. Do you understand? Like, just choose one thing to be able to open yourself up about, right? So these sacred conversations with the divine, it's like having a conversation that you already know. So you on this particular post or connect because on some level there's resonance for you. There's deep resonance, and you might be feeling exhausted with trying to move in this stance of perfection, and allow the imperfect, because that is perfect. Remember, imperfection and perfection are in relationship. So the two are simply the opposite of one another. And it will appear as if they're opposite, but they are from the same, they are from the same cloth. It's like you and me. We are the same. We just might happen to come from different homes, a different environment. We might have a different texture of hair. We might have different types of bodies. We might have, we come from different experiences, but we all having the same experiences through our stories. And that's what makes it interesting and beautiful, to be able to get into one's mind and go, oh, my conditioning has made me so rigid and so fearful that this is all I need to know. And I'm just here to help you pull yourself out of that box just a little bit. Even if it's just 5% for today, that's enough. but you have gifts to share with the world, right? So choose one thing, explore it, and then move with it, and then see, okay, maybe my energy, it doesn't feel like I want to put as much energy into this. Then go try that other thing that you wanted to explore, right? Allow yourself the creativity. There's so many creative people who are so stuck with which creative output is the best. And all of them are. And I speak the way I speak because I've experienced a lot of life in my short years of living. And when I began my shamanic journey early, like this was way before, like 10 years ago, like almost 12, or, in terms of a little bit more clearer as to what was going on, I didn't have that support of people around me who were going through these spiritual awakenings and who would question life the way in which I get excited to question life. So I'm here to help you with that, to just pull you out of your fear. A lot of what I work with is relationship and intimacy, is really getting to understand on the most intimate relationship, the most intimate aspects, the relationship with you and you in relation to. That's why we are in different relationships. You like, relationship is the divine. It's the breath that comes in and it's the breath that comes out. They are in relationship. We can't bypass that. So what happens is, when we bypass those things and we look at these concepts and we study and we try to get into the mind intellect, and then sometimes you want to sound like more profound than the person in the conversation, and then one is trying to trump the other, and I'm sure you've been in those conversations and you've seen yourself, hopefully too, in that in that sort of like aspect too, of you trying to sound profound, right? And we just got to laugh at it because it's a human experience that feels so personal, but it's so impersonal because everybody is going through some form of suffering. And now our work to be able to help one another is to be able to learn how to alchemize our low vibrational energies into high, instead of embodying that energy someone is mirroring at you. Right? That was a long way to talk about, to say what I'm going to be talking about today. Context is everything, right? I think it's so important to have context in these things, just so you can get a broader perspective. And then, we take a journey in life. When we're in conversations, we don't understand how important it is. We take journeys together. Hence why sometimes you'll find someone will either energize you in a conversation or they'll deplete your energy because they are going around in circles. It's like a GPS that takes you en route, and you get excited because now you're getting closer to your destination, right? Those are the exciting and energizing people and like stimulating people in your life. And then the depletion are those people who keep taking the wrong turn, but they're still using a GPS, if they are, or they're being stubborn and trying to feel into where the path is, right? So we're here to help each other. And today we're going to be speaking about sadness is happiness inverted. Remember, I spoke about that everything is in relationship. So the two go hand in hand. But now, as you as the center, you get to observe your preferences. That's why meditation is so important, because you get to observe, oh, I have preferences, and oh, I have stories. Are these mine? Is this true? You look at Byron Katie's work. She talks about the 4 truths. Is this true? Is this really true? And I forgot the other 2. But it's all about like truth. this work of getting to know yourself is really about being honest with yourself, being honest with people and yourself that your energy is depleting me. How do we change that? And how do we evolve with that change? Of how do we elevate and help each other elevate each other to the state of the highest vibration? These conversations too, it's almost like the higher self talking to the self that's in this flesh, right? And we simply here to release and ease the holding pattern that is stiff, that is almost formed like a solid. Okay. There's a story I have to relate with this because it's a beautiful description of sadness and happiness. Now, there's this movie called Pursuit of Happiness. There's this innate part of us that wants happiness, and we want the happiness. We start looking at it from the outside because we haven't been taught how to fully drop into the energy from the inside out, because happiness and sadness is an inside job. So the work is to be able to feel it. And what has helped me along the journey through sad feelings that I would feel is I realized when I start saying I am this, then I already start pulling in that energy of what that is. So sadness is heavy. Hence why we are in this culture of consuming things outside. Let's have fun. Let's go explore. Let's just go avoid the sadness that we are all feeling, but we are masking. So in these conversations, it's a deep invitation to allow you to feel. There's going to be times where you're going to, the truth is going to be a trigger for you. And then it's going to be a soft landing. And in that space, allow for, okay, it's time for me to tell my truth. It's really, really time to tell my truth. It's really time for me to live my fullest, my truest and deepest expression of who I know that I am. And I'm going to start choosing the least path of resistance moving forward. And I'm going to understand that my conditioning was so important for me because I knew that my pain, I'll be able to alchemize it. And I knew that my pain was going to be my biggest joy and what comes out of it. But it's a decision you have to make every single moment of the day. There is a huge responsibility in this work when you're doing self-work and you're getting to know yourself on a deeper level. It's saying, I'm committed to you no matter what. And hence why, you'd get any relationship, specifically we go more towards like more committed, let's say marriage. The rate of marriage is dropping so much because of this notion of what you believe that someone is going to save you. You have to save yourself. There is nobody who is going to come save you. I'm sorry if for some of you this is like wink, 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 like that sort of feeling, because the reality is this: you have to choose to save yourself. You have to choose who to surround yourself with, those people who align to the energy of I am saved. Do you get what I mean? Okay, so a softer landing instead of I am sad or I am happy. What has worked for me beautifully is I am experiencing sadness. Oh, okay. I'm experiencing sadness. And then I experience sadness. And then maybe it takes longer than I wanted to, but it takes way less than what it did before when I attached myself to it. because now I didn't want it there. I wanted something else. I wanted happiness. So when I wanted happiness, then I was in pursuit of that happiness, and the pursuit of something can have an energy of chasing, because you think that by the faster I move to get there is the faster I'm going to receive it now. And it's the complete opposite. We're working in the most complete opposite way. We think that the more I do, it's okay. Like the more I do, and the faster I do it, I'm gonna get there. That's the old conditioning coming through, and that's part of your patterning that has allowed you to crave for perfection. So then you don't allow the imperfection to flow through, because that imperfection of the up and the down and the flow, it weaving itself through in order for you to go, oh, it's time to alchemize. Whew. And then you breathe life into this new experience, right? We are alchemists. And if there's anything I can also help you with is alchemy. This is help you shift your mind a little bit to play around a little bit with like questions like, what if, right? So because for most of us, the culture that we have come from has dictated where we go to. And where we come from versus where we want to go to and where we are going can be, and for the most part for a lot of us, completely opposite. And it feels like this fight. And that's where it goes to, you think that because you are searching for this happiness outside of yourself, that you're going to catch it by moving faster. You think you won't have to feel the sad feeling. And what happens is, and I'm sure you've experienced this, you have a desire and you go, oh, okay, cool. I think I am going to travel for a weekend away, and I just need peace, and I don't need people, and I need like just good times by myself or with a partner or a group of friends, depending, right? And then you get there, and then, whoop, there it is. There you still are. You're still carrying this energy with you. You know, so if there's anything I can encourage you is, you're not going to experience that happiness without experiencing it from the inside. No amount of things, no amount of people, no amount of acquisition, basically, is going to make you feel. And I'd like to offer a word: instead of trying to look for happiness, seek contentment. Contentment is peaceful harmony and joy. You know, that just is like, oh my God, I'm so like, oh, okay, this is happening. Oh, okay, this is happening now. Oh, wow. Okay, this is happening. And meditation is a beautiful practice for that for me, because I can close my eyes, and I don't only do the closed eyes meditation, but I can close my eyes and I can let spirit lead me. Usually my prayer when whether I'm teaching or whether I'm doing whatever work that I'm doing, I just go, use me. Show me where to go. And I'd like to offer this beautiful story I had heard. First, I'll go to a friend, an old friend, sharing about, instead of looking for balance, look for harmony. Oh, and I just loved that. I was like, ooh, harmony. Harmony for me now is that dance, it's like a wave. Sometimes I'm going to catch it and sometimes I'm not going to catch it. And I've been singing a lot more in this new phase of my life, and learning how to harmonize is, you learn when you're creating the music, or the music is being created through you, is that sometimes when you take off certain sound, one of the sounds is going to sound offbeat, but it needed to appear sounding offbeat so that when it was combined together with something, it was in harmony. Do you get what I mean? Had I put a note higher or softer, it wouldn't have been in harmony when all the voices were coming together. And that's harmony for me. And in that, there's an imperfect perfect. It's so beautiful, because then I get to free myself of, it has to sound this particular way, right? It has to sound the way in which it's trying to flow through, whether it sounds offbeat or not. But when pulled together, it's magic. It feels like magic. And then when you look at balance, the word balance is so like, I already have this tipping scale in my mind. Like when you're having to put something on a scale and it's 0, 0, have you used a scale and you've put something in, even just that like little bit of, like, let's say you're using a teaspoon to add that last micro addition to it being balanced, sometimes it can completely throw off the scale. And that's that chasing, thinking that if I just go there, I'm going to be in balance. If I just do this, I'm going to be in balance. And it's like, no. Try soften that. Be with where you're being taken, but you have to know where you are going through where you are being taken to as well. Because like I said earlier, we journey in conversation. And then now I can talk about the story. Context. There was a story I'd heard around balance. And when we look at, let's say, someone on a hospital bed and they're on life support. They are on life balance, on life support. When that life support machine is going up and down and up and down and up and down, that's showing life. As soon as that up and down hits the horizontal and it flatlines, that person is no longer alive unless they are able to resuscitate them depending on their condition, right? So when you look at the flat line and when you look at the fluid line, the two is that dance between imperfect and perfect, and it's sadness and happiness. Now, when you are seeking happiness and you're seeking outside of yourself, you are saying, I don't want to feel this discomfort of sadness. And when you keep going outside, you start adding. Your system becomes almost like an overload, because you are acquiring so much and the sadness is building up in your body. So hence why, because your fascia in your body stores so much memory, for some people it has condensed into an ice-like form where you would say that you become stiff, right? And the buildup of fascia in the knees, in the back, in the thighs, in the calves, in the ankles, all that fascia is holding memory of sadness, because it's trying to pull you in. And hence why you would find yourself that you I pray for you, for those that I'm speaking to, that you don't wait to make time to be still, because life will always encourage you. Life will encourage you to really go in. I remember when I used to practice like very fluid vinyasa, and I wanted to be like, oh, so nice, like up and down and leg twisting, bending, folding in different directions. And I still love doing it, but where I was doing it from was on such a high ego based way that was acquiring attention of, ooh, I feel strong, I look strong. And then there was little connection to, even though, I mean, I still had connection because I've always had connection from like the moment I started my yoga practice, but there was like there wasn't as deep a connection, let me just say, because the system was starting to back up. It's like trying to feel the good only, and then to bypass the feeling, up until I got a knee injury. And it was from a yoga class. And the instructor, I had actually been doing Ashtanga yoga, and the instructor came and adjusted me, didn't ask me to breathe, and then kutush, knee tears, you know. And life, through even connecting with that teacher's energy and the way in which the structure of Ashtanga, the way in which I had taken it, it had come at a point in my life where I was told to slow down. So I was forced to slow down big time, because the knees, when you get like tears, it's not a good thing. So I was really encouraged to slow down. And in that slowing down, then I could see and experience sadness and all that my body was holding on for me. In my thighs, the anger and the sadness of not walking in my truth. In my arms and my hands in pain, not being able to receive and give fully of love, the tightness in my back and my chest, my heart being so in need of protection and me being so closed off. I had to really feel all those layers that I had packed on physically in terms of weight too. And I had to sit with my body. And as I sat with my body, I mean, it's just bringing me to tears now. It was like I'm here. I've been here with you. I'm here for you. And I want to work with you. So I'm passionate about the work that I do, because I know and I understand the wisdom of the body and how much it helps the really deep connection to myself and the divine. And I can allow in relationship for people to be who they are, because now there's no need for them to be a particular way other than themselves. And I would find being in relationship was wanting them to be me, and then wanting them to prove that I'm worthy. Like I needed people to prove my worthiness. And the deeper and deeper I got to understanding the wisdom of the body and just having a conversation and loving and sitting with myself, I could for the first time speak about loving myself. We always want to hear I love you from friends, from associates, from, depending obviously on your associate level, relationship, your family. But we never fully had spoken about, do you love you? Can you love you? How do I actually love myself? So I hope that this has been an invitation to have deeper reflections on really being able to sit with the body and go through that understanding of what is my sadness speaking. And I promise you, as soon as you feel those low vibrational energies, you'll naturally know how to alchemize into the high vibrational energy, because that low vibrational energy of sadness is blocking the happiness. And when I talk about in my yoga practice, what I share with clients is, when you're feeling that discomfort in the body, that's that energy and your body saying, breathe, breathe deeper. I'm pushing this energy out. I'm pushing this energy, and I'm giving you space. So assist me by breathing. Don't hold the breath. And it's beautiful to work in ceremony when people understand that notion of that. What you're doing when at least when you're working with me, you are moving through ceremony, and you're going through a rebirthing, you're going through a birthing, and you're going through life and death, that transformation. So like, how do we transform? How do we integrate our rebirthing and our birthing phases within our life? Because the rebirthing, the birthing, the life, the death, the transformation, the integration, that medicine, there's so much medicine in the sadness, because we are constantly experiencing living grief. We are not the same we were yesterday. We don't know who we're going to fully be, the outcome of who we're fully going to be tomorrow. And in that dance between wanting to know and having to let that aspect of us go, we sit with grief in the unknown. And then that's that dance between sadness and happiness, where we sit with it, we breathe through it, we alchemize it, and we go through a rebirthing, or we go through a birthing of something new completely. So my wish for you is that this has just opened up your particular box just a little bit. My wish for you is that you start getting to know yourself on a deeper and more intimate level. My wish is that you ask for support when you need it. My wish for you is that you get what you fully desire from the truest aspect of who you are, not from your conditioning. And my wish is that you may have the deepest courage to go on this hero's journey, no matter in which direction you take it, but it comes from the aspect of love, from the deepest alignment within yourself. And it brings you the most content. You feel content. What's the word? Content. You just feel so content. I wish that for you. I wish for you to feel peace, and I wish for you to feel peace and dis-ease, so you can start looking at things as they are and understand that life is really, really always working out for you. It's not happening against you if you understand energy and relationship. I love you so much, and in order to know and support this channel, know more about, because I'm going to be talking a lot, to like, share, and subscribe. Share with your friends who maybe they needed this and they just don't have the resources to be able to connect, to go to physical therapy. You know, there's always some way to be able to do it in this way here. So let's just close our eyes if you have the capacity. And just breathe. Just take a deep breath in. And a deep breath with sound. Like you've arrived home. Somewhere in your heart you remember this. You are remembering who you are. And I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you. Sending so much love. And I think I've conversed quite a bit. I've shared quite a bit. And I hope you caught what resonated with you. Okay. Bye.